After multiple attempts, I was able to get my pack system down to the essentials, shedding as much dead weight as I could. Trading in some old items that had served me well over the decades for ultralight alternatives. It was the August long weekend here in Canada, and after some pretty satisfying but shorter backcountry trips, I decided to make a week out of it and put my gear through the paces on a pieced-together trek through the north end of Killarney. I had never been there and was really aching for a few days of solitude, because sometimes the only voice you want to spend time with is the one in your head. As I was about to find out, this area of pristine and protected woodland would not disappoint. I drove up the night before after a full workday and decided to stay in a cheap motel that accepted guests well into the night, hoping to get an early start the next morning. Should be a good one. I stayed at a motel last night coming up from the city so I could get an earlier start and a good rest when an early drive. But here we go. It's a beautiful day. Coming into the first portage, 180 meters from Panache into Walker Lake. It's a little, wasn't quite as long to get here as I thought. Apparently there's poison ivy on this one, so we'll have to be cautious. I love it when you find the signs. They're so helpful. You just know exactly where you're supposed to be. Nice, clearly marked trail at the beginning anyway. And the dam, this side of the dam, upstream of the dam. Yeah, there's poison ivy on this portage. It would have been more apt to say, look, we actually farm it on this route, so you might want to be careful. Great Scott. Oh my goodness. Okay. Short portage, but rife with biohazards. Onward! Now, if my calculations are correct, the portage should be just around this point. Ooh, coming into a bit of a headwind, as has been most of the paddle in. Looking forward to getting to the campsite and setting up. And making some lunch, brunch, supper, dinner, something like that. There it is, the mouth of the trail, a glowing beacon of light. Ah! Yeah, the trail says crazy steep. Maybe this is the steepest part, but it does look steep. Let's get there. Day 2 of the trip. Feeling pretty good. It's been a great day. I'm tired, I'm sweaty, I'm very hungry, but can't beat the weather. The bugs are settled. That's what I love about August and September. I guess technically this is the first day of the trip because I stayed in the no-tell motel last night. Sort of vaguely reminded me of something that Sam and Dean might stay in while they were hunting from that show Supernatural. And subsequently, possibly, maybe a location that rents rooms by the hour. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just to give you context. Second portage of the day. And then a short paddle to my island oasis for the night. I just love this. And there she is, Van Winkle Site 243. I think it's 243. I know it's the right site, but I'm not sure the right number. Just do a quick tour around, see where the best water access is. I think it's actually right here, but that's all right. This is what I was looking for all along. Oh yeah. Okay, let's check it out, see what we have for the night. For a site. This is exciting. There's the trail up. I'll just give you a perspective. There's where I decided to put in. Or pull out, sorry. Oh, big tree. Going down. Just an aside, they need to make these Rhodes microphones with a little swivel so you can just turn the mic around depending on what way you're facing instead of having to snap it out of the carriage and then snap it back in. That would be a design improvement. Anywho, oh, what's this? Hugging trees. Little table. This is actually thought out and doesn't look too old either. That's actually a good job. I don't really like nailing things into trees, but that's a nice little bench. Ooh. They've left some fuel. I'm very happy. Nice little fire pit. That looks like maybe a minnow trap. Oh my goodness. And sunset will be that-a-way. Wow, can't beat the view. Another little trail down there. Another little trail up there we can explore in a bit. Let's find a tent pad to make our home for the night. Ooh, what's this up here? Whoa! Oh my goodness. dead flat. Dead flat. No widowmakers around. Probably should check that log out for bees, but let's see what's over here. Lots of young growth oak, white pine and maple on this island. This is actually quite nice as well. Oh my goodness, and what is this over here? A whole bunch of fuel. I surmised that I would likely have to go off this island and bring fuel from the mainland because it was probably picked over, but that does not seem to be the case, which frees up my evening a little bit. And couldn't come at a better time. For dinner, and supper combined, we have Chili Fiesta by Happy Yak, plant-based, and tortillas that I'll cook in the pan. Lughnasadh, or Lamos, is the pagan Sabbath marking the first seasonal harvest. Halfway between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox, Lamos is a deep-rooted holiday celebrated with festivals, feasting on the first fruits, spending time in nature, playing music, and storytelling. Long ago on this day, couples would enter into trial marriages lasting a year and a day, at which time they could decide to part ways or be handfasted into a more permanent union. It happens to be our anniversary. First harvest is also a time of moving forward. Writing things down helps me keep goals solid and attainable. With so many ways to celebrate the rewards of nature, this holiday was the perfect excuse for me to reconnect with the land that has given me so much joy. I also decided to fashion a charm bag for prosperity and abundance, including stones and herbs closely associated with this time of year. For breakfast, Cali Breakfast Bowl by Nomad Nutrition, plant-based nutrition. It's not bad. So we started yesterday at Mountain Cove Lodge here, paddled around the bend, through the Biohazard Dam, straight south, through the Rocky Channel, into Little Bear Lake, onto Van Winkle, did the 180 meter steep portage there, and we camped at 232 last night. Planning on coming back east 490 into Cat Lake. There's some ruins there to explore, and then another 720, which is super steep. That'll be fun. Been through Howry Lake, intermediate 150, through the creek, hoping to see some animals there. And there's a rare rock outcrop point of interest. 120 through Fish Lake, and then the last 440 meter, which is flat, into Great Mountain to the south end of the lake, where I'll stay at Camp 243. We're leaving the campsite on Van Winkle Lake, and we're heading toward the first portage into Cat Lake. I did seriously consider doing the western loop down to Nelly and up through all that creek water. But something's just telling me to stick with the original plan. And I'm not as concerned as just making distance on this trip, but a few things I want to see, a few things I want to do. Decompress from that awful thing we call civilization. Finished the first carry of the first portage into Cat Lake. Going to explore some cabin ruins before I hit the next portage, which is a 790, I believe, and double explanation mark, so their version of crazy steep. But it's measured on the steepest point of the trail, so it doesn't mean that it's all uphill. This one is steep at the ends, but in the middle it's actually fairly flat. That's a single explanation point. So, cabin ruins, originally built by Tech Gold Mines in the 1930s. I think we should go and have a little look-see. This is also where the portage is, so I have to get out anyway. Cabin ruins in the middle of nowhere. What do you think? Bank robbers hiding in there? On the lam, maybe? Finished the 790 meter portage. I had to do it in 3 carries. It was just too steep, and my load is just still too heavy. Camera gear and everything else. But we're on to Howry Lake now. Saw some bear scat on the trail. So I had my canoe on my head, and I was sweating like mad. It was fresh, and I didn't really feel like stopping to take a video of it. I'm gonna find some place to have lunch. Might as well be charging. while we go. Wow, that's gorgeous. Really nice. I wasn't going to make it much further without getting something to eat, so I just stopped at the portage to fry up a sandwich. Still have 2 portages to go, 3. 2 of them short, 1 of them long but flat. I'm going to paddle down the Great Mountain Lake. Okay, made it across that 120. That one was pretty steep. Now I'm on Gem Lake, short little pond. And then I have the last 150, so second last 150 flat, and then the last 440 meter flat. And then it's south paddling to my campsite on Great Mountain Lake. And hopefully it's nice and still like this. I have to go through Fish Lake as well. Yeah, stay like this. Or a tailwind, but I'd settle for this. Okay, met a young gentleman and his friends, and he said there was a couple of boggy parts I might have to pull over, so I'm glad I kept my wet shoes on. Oh. Gonna make it? Nope. Oh. Oh, hopefully the last that's the last of that mess. Nice sandhill cranes. That's what they mean by pudding stone, but it's hard to tell the difference, really. That's what they mean by pudding stone. Interesting. Okay, I found it. Oh my goodness, I got turned around. I'm fighting the light here. Oh, thank you, Mr. Canoe Headman. Thank you, Mr. Canoe Headman. In front of the super creepy cabin that is somehow here. Wish I had time to explore it, but I am fighting the light. 440 meters to go, and then a paddle. I was getting very short on time. Okay, I did the 440 meter. It was reasonably flat. Just a muck ball at the end. I think I am just going to get to camp before the light's gone. That's cutting it close. A little too close for my liking in an unknown place. There it is. Home sweet home. Well, isn't that just spectacular and worth the push? This is a fabulous campsite. My goodness.